Hill, 92.5 FM. Liam likes his money. Makes a lot, they say. Spends his day counting in a garage by the motorway. Oh, Liam, or Levon, or Leon, whichever you may prefer. That is the news here in Duval. Liam Coen, and a Wednesday afternoon interview with some leaks, which I find just adorable. I really do. Not a lot of leaks on the first 5 interviews, but some today, some substance today. And a lot of people believe it is Liam Coen right now, the leader in the clubhouse. Charles Robertson of Yahoo said it. The latest betting numbers, which we'll get to momentarily, do all of a sudden have Liam Coen stretching out a little bit as the odds to be the next head coach. He was there in some aspects late last week, right? It was Ben Johnson originally, but that changed, 9 days ago when it was announced that the front office would remain intact. And right now there is some massive steam that Liam Coen will be the Jaguars' next head coach. Now, reportedly, still 4 candidates will be interviewed, including a couple that we do know for sure coming up on Friday. Brian Flores is going to interview here. My understanding is that he's going to get himself a job, right? New York is very intrigued by Brian Flores, who, of course, was a head coach in Miami, also spent a decade in New England, so they're very familiar with what is going on in the, in the East, in the AFC. Then again, no matter what the Jets do, it'll crumble right in front of them. And 14 years without a playoff berth for New York. Chicago, very involved with Brian Flores. It almost feels like maybe that's a fallback. I don't think there's any secret that they really do covet Ben Johnson. Does Ben Johnson want to go there and work with Ryan Poles? Does Ben Johnson believe that Caleb Williams is a difference maker in the NFL? If he went there, I could see it at least a little bit because of Williams. My biggest question would be, look at the division. I mean, that's a tough job. 6 games a year, Detroit, Minnesota, trying to win Green Bay successfully in that division. Very, very hard to do, right? Not the same deal here. Look what's going on. You don't know if AR is going to be the quarterback in Indianapolis. It appears they've already given up on Will Levis in Nashville, right? C.J. Stroud has won playoff games. He's won more playoff games than Trevor Lawrence, right? He's won the wild card round in consecutive years. Will he get out of the divisional round? Probably not. In my opinion on C.J. Stroud is that he did regress somewhat in season number 2. He didn't move forward the way that I think a lot of people felt that he would. But simply, it's easier to win in the AFC South. No one can argue with that point. Going to Vegas is laughable. I mean, I just can't believe that he would actually do that. Why would you go to Las Vegas unless you're going to post it all on drafting a quarterback coming up in 99 days? And do you really believe that you are going to be able to turn this quarterback around in a small period of time? Because this league is where you are hired to be fired. I can't see a situation where Ben Johnson gets 4 or 5 years regardless of record. Remember the Gus Bradley feeling around here when it went sideways from day one, but it was like inhale, exhale. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's going to take a very long period of time. And for those who remember, the Mike Mularkey year, in my opinion, was the worst roster that this franchise has had in 30 years. And it didn't get much better early on under Gus Bradley, but it just makes no sense to me that Ben Johnson could actually consider going to Las Vegas. I mean, this guy can pick his job. If you can pick a job, don't you want to go to a place where you have a quarterback. The job should be right here. It should be in Duval. But we don't know what the latest is as far as that is concerned. Okay. I'm very repetitive in things that I believe. That's just the way that I'm wired. And I think what we are hearing right now, the language that is coming out of Duval, what is possibly coming out of Tampa Bay, directly supports my feeling on the next head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, okay? Just consider what is going on in Tampa Bay ever since Tom Brady left, right? That is a playoff team. It is a game or two above 500 team. It's got some warts. The defense was terrible, albeit they did get better in the last month of the season. They do have some talent on the offensive side, but when you look at Tampa Bay, it doesn't appear that they are a realistic Super Bowl contender. They're a playoff team, and that's about it. Look at what happened to them last year. Young, upcoming offensive coordinator, Dave Canellis. Where did he go? Carolina. Here comes Liam Coen. He has bounced back and forth with, McVay in Los Angeles and at Kentucky where he had Will Levis. He literally went back and forth over a 4-year period. All of a sudden, here in town, the feeling is, by many, Liam Coen is the leader to get this job. Well, just look at Tampa. They're losing offensive coordinator after offensive coordinator. I say this to you, and I have been saying this to you for this very reason, okay? If Jacksonville gets good, let's say it is a defensive coach. Let's say it is Robert Saleh. Let's say it's Aaron Glenn. And they come here as the head coach, and you bring along with them, it's not going to be Liam Coen. It's not going to be Ben Johnson. They're only going to leave Tampa and Detroit, respectively, if they get a head coaching job. They're not going to go from offensive coordinator to offensive coordinator. That just doesn't happen, and it won't in this situation. But let's say Aaron Glenn or Robert Saleh does bring with them a very talented offensive coordinator. And all of a sudden, this football team in a year totally turns things around. And Trevor Lawrence has done more than settle in. Trevor Lawrence has taken his ability to the next level. Points per game goes way up. I mean, this team was 26th in scoring. Look at the amount of money they spent. 26th in scoring. Absolutely deplorable. You've got a franchise quarterback. You have 2 running backs. Okay, you were ravaged with injuries at wide receiver. I'll give you that. And you lost Ingram late at tight end. The offensive line, still not where it needs to be, especially the interior offensive line. I think they're set, hopefully, with tackles. I hate that Walker Little missed the end of the year. I really do. I wanted him getting 65 snaps a game, even in meaningless contests, in week 15, 16, 17, 18, 18 weeks, 17. I did. I wanted him getting 65 snaps a week. And it didn't happen. Now, all of a sudden, you start looking at guys like Walker Little. You start looking at guys like Ventrell Miller, and you're like, okay, yeah, they really have shown something. But can you count on them? Or are they going to be injured? How many games are they going to miss? I mean, I've said this about Cam Robinson forever. I don't want to Debbie down you here as we get things started, but I think it's a fair question all of a sudden. How many games can you realistically expect Ventrell Miller to play next year? All this talk of moving Lloyd, right? They have 3 linebackers. They only need 2. All right. Ventrell Miller going to play 17 games? Is Walker Little going to play 17 games? Right now, the feeling in my answer to both those questions would be absolutely no. Their body of work, unfortunately, including time at Stanford and Florida, injured in college, injured in the NFL. That has to be under consideration. There's no other way to look at it. But the reason why, and this is the most important reason, that I want an offensive head coach. Just look at Tampa. You start moving things offensively. After losing Dave Canellis, this team in Tampa Bay was either third or fourth in offensive scoring. They were top 5 in passing. They were top 5 in rushing. They were a balanced attack. And they did it with a quarterback who a couple of years ago was considered a first-round bust. That's pretty impressive. Every time I mention this, it is not unanimous. But, man, there is a massive tidal wave coming after me saying, no, 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 no. You people are telling me that I'm wrong. You are telling me that my feeling of an offensive coach who calls plays. So if the team does flip the switch, if the team does get good, and they come take your defensive coordinator, okay, you can bring in a new defense. We've seen that around here quite a bit. If you lose your offensive coordinator, it hurts because there's stability and consistency within the team. But he's not calling the plays. Your head coach is. So if you come and pluck away the offensive coordinator, the nucleus is still in place. That is your head coach and Trevor Lawrence. And I look at all these mock drafts, and I look at everything that's out there, and it's a second corner. It's an interior defensive lineman. It's in my head explodes. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Okay? It's about offense. It's about offense, 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 offense. You cannot fix it all. It is impossible to fix it all. Every team is flawed, including the 8 that remain that will play this weekend during the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. Every team has a flaw. You have what is supposed to be a generational talent. The best quarterback, the most talented guy that this city has ever seen. He needs all of the resources. Not some. He needs them all. Okay? You need a right guard. Find it. Go get him. Whether you overspend in free agency or you overdraft, go get a right guard. Go get a number 2 wide receiver. Don't Gabe Davis me. For crying out loud, it's mid-January. I'm in no mood to hear about Gabe Davis. He's not going to do it as a number 2 wide receiver. You have a superstar in Brian Thomas Jr. You have a possession slot wide receiver in Parker Washington. Because of the ego of Trent Baalke, this is a good thing for you in this scenario. I'm convinced now that he keeps one of the 2, Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram. I think another general manager would try to trade or say goodbye to them and recoup some funds. My thought is he keeps absolutely one. He may keep them both. He kept the huge cap numbers this past year with Cam Robinson until he literally forced his way out of the city. Okay? And Christian Kirk. And you go back and rewind the tape. All of last year we were talking about, you can't pay Cam Robinson and Christian Kirk. You can't give them that cap number. They did. This team has money. So with Trent Baalke here, if there's one real positive about Trent Baalke, it's that. If you still believe that Christian Kirk, and he's unfortunately his last 2 years have ended because of injury, right? Evan Ingram, you hope it was more of a fluke. To me, I would really have a problem saying goodbye to Ingram. I think he's got a lot left in the tank, although Brenton Strange, I think, is a guy that is certainly put himself into the offensive equation here. I believe that. But you still, in my opinion, you need a number 2 wide receiver. So this is where I am. And until the coach is announced, this is where I'm going to remain. And I try to explain it to you in the simplest of terms. And I love this. I love being on, I do. I like being on opposite sides of diehard listeners. It's like you've listened to my point here many times over. Because, again, I've been repetitive on this because I believe it. But you still seem to think, nope. Get a leader of men. Get the best overall guy that can fix this culture. It doesn't matter who your offensive and defensive coordinator is. Get the right head coach. Okay. Only time will tell. Right? Only time. No matter who they hire, I'm going to be in support of. I don't have it in me to roll in here every night and play the role of they messed up. The team's going to – I don't have that in me. And for the record, I thought that Doug Peterson should have been the guy. He was the guy I mentioned. And, you know, we saw how it worked out. Pretty good start, but then they just fell flat on their face. Second half of last year and all of this year. I'm not going to do that to you. But I am absolutely steadfast in my opinion. And my opinion remains the same. If you want to comment on that, love to hear from you. 641-1010. I tell you what, and that is brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. My opinion never changes when it comes to Shmunez Vision. All right, they've been around for quite some time. You're talking about more than 30 years worth of experience with Dr. John Hunt, Dr. Neo Shmunez, and Dr. Catherine Shmunez. Whether you just want laser eye surgery and you want 20/20 vision for the rest of your life, or you feel you got something that is far more significant and you're actually concerned, why not go to the best? And here's what's going on. If you need any type of surgery, including cataract surgery, they will sit down and talk and answer each and every one of your questions, which is so incredibly important. Can't say enough great things about Shmunez Vision. Check them out online. Go to Shmunez Vision is where you can get all of the testimonials on Instagram at Shmunez Vision as well. When we come back, let's get you into this rotation right out of the gate. I want you to hear from Trevor Lawrence. I want you to hear from Dylan Denmark. I may have an opinion or two. It's great to have you with us. My name's Rick Ballou.
Let's take a look inside 1010XL.
Who wants the grand tour?
That would be terrific. That would be great.
We have the drill in the morning.
Very amusing.
Jaguars Today from 10 to noon.
Good.
Helmets and heels until 2.
Yes.
XL Prime Time and the Franchi Show afternoons.
This is great.
Then Ballou and Hacker take you into the night.
All in one location.
1010XL.
Ballou here for Shmunez Vision. Why Shmunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Shmunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Shmunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Shmunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit shmunezvision.com today. Here you can see.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
This is head coach Matthew Driscoll from the UNF men's basketball team. When our players suffer an orthopedic injury, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists gets our players back on the court pain-free.
We appreciate the endorsements from our high school and college coaches. This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, poker fans! The Best Bet Winter Open Series returns to Best Bet Jacksonville from January 23rd to February 2nd. Satellites into the $1,500 main event kick off January 4th. Take your shot at big payouts with 8 action-packed events and $500,000 in guarantees. Visit bestbetjacks.com for more details. That's bestbetjacks.com. And we'll see you at the Winter Open starting January 23rd.
Everybody, Mike Dempsey with a question here. Was your goal to lose weight this new year? If so, are you already down 18 pounds? That's a serious question because I dropped 18 pounds in my first 3 weeks alone with Awaken 180 weight loss. That's how fast the weight can fall off when you choose the solution for weight loss. Each week, you look at the scale and the number goes down and down. Every morning you wake up, you feel better and better. For me, I love that instant feedback of knowing that Awaken 180 was working for me on a daily basis, experiencing those results. And given how easy Awaken 180 was, there was no way I wouldn't reach my goal. And I did. 25 pounds total thanks to Awaken 180, and I've kept the weight off since. The only weight loss program I know that puts their money where their mouth is. They're so confident in your success, they offer free support for life. A one-time investment in yourself for a lifetime of benefits online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish. And he's listening to the Nimnicht Outdoor Show.
With tips and stories.
Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Every Saturday morning, 7 to 10.
On 1010XL.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. Are you tired of wrestling with your old shower curtain? Then say goodbye to the curtain chaos and hello to a new frameless shower enclosure. Wago Glass is clear, classy, and won't stick to you like a toddler at bedtime. Plus, it makes your bathroom look bigger and brighter. Upgrade your shower experience and step into style. Call me at Baker Glass and get ready to love your new glass shower enclosure. Baker Glass, no one treats you better.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Clean air, cool air, both are extremely important. Trust Florida Home AC to deliver on both with their Remy Halo, the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and breathe clean and cool air.
D1 Training East Jacksonville invites you to their mega NFL football camp at the Bowl School February 1st from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Ages 7 through 16. Get hands-on coaching from former NFL players at every single station. The coaches lineup put together by Connor and Sam at D1 is proudly sponsored by Tim Tebow. To sign up, call 904-901-6470.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and this month I want to talk to you about welcoming the winds of change in your life. But so often, when we see the winds of change coming our way, our immediate response is to fight it. Friends, when you see things in your life changing, when the winds of change are coming your way, don't fight it, but embrace it. Recognize that God is stirring you up so that you too can soar like an eagle.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
From one sports fan to another, this is Andrew Gibson with 1010XL. And now is the time to order your Valentine's flowers from Coen Flowers. Do it today, and you won't be scrambling at the last minute. CoenFlowers.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
I'm going to have to wait until the second verse to get to Liam Coen loves this money. Liam. And he's going to make a boatload right here in Jacksonville. And he sends him to the fire. I have a text to share with you that I just received via Tampa Media. But first things first. Leave on likes his money. This should be the song as we welcome him in. He makes a lot to say. All right, Liam Coen. Of course, this is Leave On by the great Elton John, but I kind of like it. It fits in well with Liam. far as I'm concerned. This is a member of the Tampa media. Moments ago, I asked about Todd Bowles, and this is his response. He says, if Coen gets an offer from the Jaguars, I think the Bucs would move to keep him. That's my personal opinion, shared with a few beat writers. I have not talked to the Glazers. All right. There is a large faction of media members in Tampa Bay that believe Todd Bowles will be fired or Todd Bowles will be moved upstairs, very similar to what we saw with Bruce Arians a couple of years ago. And remember, this is an organization that has done things that make you scratch your head a little bit, right? They fired Lovie Smith for Dirk Cutter. Tony Dungy, they retired his name there. He went to the playoffs, 4 times in 6 years? And they fired him to make a trade for John Gruden. So the Glazers have made some moves before. I think Todd Bowles is a very good coach. He certainly appears to be CEO. Every time they show him on the sideline, he's never talking. You know, he delegates his authority and allows his coaches to do their coaching. But they are huge on Liam Coen in Tampa Bay. I mean, they really believe that this man has what it takes. What is really intriguing about all of this, Dylan, is that he doesn't have an interview anywhere else. It feels like for Liam Coen, all these other coaches that we talk about have 2 or 3, in some cases 4 interviews. Liam Coen is interviewing only in Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's kind of odd. I mean, for you to be a hot guy, I mean, he's not obviously not to the point of Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn up in Detroit, but I mean, usually if you are a decent coordinator, you're expecting to get a head coaching job in the near future, you're at least getting interviews from a couple other teams. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, that is very intriguing. This is the very latest, up to the second, bookies.com. Liam Coen plus 450. Okay, you lay down $100 for Liam Coen to be your next head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You get $450 back. Ben Johnson plus 500. Same deal. You lay $100, you get back 500. 550s for Joe Brady and Robert Saleh. Saleh interviewed yesterday. Ben Johnson did on Saturday. Joe Brady, we have yet to see a scheduled interview for him. 6 of the 10 candidates. Number 6 was today with Liam Coen. 4 more coming up. We told you about the 2 on Friday. One of those is Brian Flores. He's plus 750. Aaron Glenn plus 800. Boy, has he dropped. And I don't think there's any doubt he's going to get a head coaching job. New Orleans, maybe Chicago. I thought he was in play here. Kellen Moore plus $1,000. All right. Does Kellen Moore end up in Dallas? That was one thing I wanted to get into at least somewhat tonight. That's Deion Sanders in Dallas. Where do you feel with that? I want Deion in college for another year or 2. And I watched Colorado play weekly, and I know it's going to be different next year with Travis Hunter gone and, you know, with his son, the quarterback who's gone. I don't know if the other son is coming out, the defensive back.
Yeah, he's coming out too.
He is the safety. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit different, but I enjoyed watching Colorado play because it felt like as an organization or, you know, as a college football team, they were so disliked. And I like a lot of disliked people. I've just always have been that way. Even when I was a little kid, I liked the bad guys in wrestling. I liked the heels in wrestling. You know, my GF watches these Hallmark movies, and they always end with a mushy kiss, and they walk off hand in hand into the sunset, where I'm kind of hoping that the exact opposite happens. You know, but I'm not always that way. But I loved watching Colorado and thinking that people can't stand this call. I mean, think of what that brought to college football. I also selfishly hope he does it for another year or 2, and then when Mike Norvell finally is at the point where they can pay off that dead money or the buyout money, that Deion Sanders ends up at Florida State. in a couple of years. Todd Monken plus 1,400, and then Cliff Kingsbury at plus 1,400. So that is the very latest as far as odds for the Jaguars' next head coach. All right. Kaya Stevens had an opportunity to sit down with Trevor Lawrence yesterday, and Trevor was asked what he looks for and what he would want when it comes to finding the Jaguars' next head coach.
As far as just what I'm looking for, I think just a great leader, someone that'll, again, which I felt like Coach attempted to do, especially our first couple of years, was set that culture and have that identity and just being a tough team. I feel like we need to kind of get back to some of that. And for whatever reason this past season, I felt like we lost some of that. And we had a lot of adversity, injuries, and a bunch of close games, one-score losses. But to get back to that just gritty, tough team, sticks together, I feel like we need to get back to some of that. So, I think that's the biggest thing. And obviously, there's a lot of different ways you could go as far as offensive coach, defensive coach. I mean, obviously, I'm biased. I'm an offensive guy, so I would love to have a young offensive coach that can have our system and we can build on it for years to come. But whoever it ends up being, just a great leader that can really rally the team around them. Guys that'll go out there and put everything on the line for them. I think that's obviously something you're looking for, and whether that's an offensive or defensive guy, just the best leader for our team.
Thank you to Jaguars.com for that. And I like what he said. He said quite a bit in just over 1 minute. All right? Makes total sense. I think if there was honesty involved and you asked all 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL if they were going through a coaching change, sure. You want the best offensive mind that you can possibly put out there, right? And that is what Trevor Lawrence wants. That is what I want, okay? And that is the reason that I continuously say this to you. The leader of men is incredibly important. And I think when you look at first-time coaches, that is always going to be a question, right? I was around here when Gus Bradley became a first-time head coach. Gus Bradley may be the greatest human being on this planet, and I thought he would be the ultimate players coach. But it kind of fell on deaf ears after a long period of time. Doug Marrone, experience before, college and pro. Okay? Same thing. It didn't really work out. Certainly Urban was an abomination. Doug Peterson, to me, is such a disappointment because I really thought that he was the perfect guy for Trevor Lawrence. And it just didn't work out. And, I thought year one was close to perfect. It was really an overachieving year. And the fact that he did overachieve, both Trevor and the team and Doug Peterson, especially in the second half of the 2022 season, probably upped the expectations to the point that it cost Peterson a year. If they were 4 and did they have 17 games in 2022? If they were 4-13 in 2022, maybe that it wouldn't have been the same type of heat on Doug Peterson this past year. If you think about it in that context, I don't know. I could be totally wrong. I'm just throwing that out there. The other scenario here that has to be fixed. Jacksonville needs to become a tougher team. They need to become a more physical football team. And we share the numbers with you, but it's been consistent now in the entire Trevor Lawrence career. 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1. Albeit, it was a little bit better this year, but it's still not where you want it, okay? If you look at really good teams, what do they have consistently? Well, they have a great quarterback. They're also incredibly tough in the ditch. Offensive linemen, interior defensive linemen. Now, Jacksonville right now has 2 guys on the edge that are as good as any in pro football, okay? It tails off considerably once you move inside. Now, there's signs there. Mason Smith, 6 games inactive. 3 was because of an ankle. The other 3 were somewhat mysterious. And then we heard later in the year that he wasn't eating right. He wasn't taking care of his body the way that I'm sure that he was supposed to. And maybe he matures from that and learns in year 2. Bottom line, I think Mason Smith's got a real chance. Eric Armstead, apparently he said so as he was cleaning out his locker to get out of there for the end of the year that, he will play the interior defensive line in 2025. I think that's somewhat humorous that he says that without knowing who the coach is going to be. I mean, doesn't your coach tell you where you're playing and whatever? But, yeah, that has to be addressed. I mean, I'm going to always hammer offense. I would rather lose games 33-30 than lose games 12-7, okay? That is my opinion on this. Again, get all of the resources for Trevor Lawrence, but I do see that you need another corner. I do see that you need a defensive tackle. I do see that you need 2 safeties. The good news is you should be able to get all of that. You got plenty of money under the cap. You got an opportunity to recoup even more money by saying goodbye to some veterans. And as I said at the top of the show, this team absolutely needs a right guard and a number 2 wide receiver. You got a superstar in Thomas Jr. But with Trent Baalke staying here, I think Christian Kirk has a real good chance to stay here. If it was a new front office, I am totally convinced that there's no way that Christian Kirk would be back. Right? He just wouldn't. He's been injured the last couple of years. You got a guy that can do not the same things as Kirk, but close to Kirk if given the opportunity in Parker Washington, who will be on year 3 of a rookie contract. Okay? I mean, that's less than $1 million compared to the outrageous amount of money. And I know I said this early in the show, but we keep having new listeners who join us all the time. All offseason a year ago, I kept saying there's no way they're going to keep these contracts the way that they are with Christian Kirk and Cam Robinson. They're going to have to restructure them or they're going to cut them. Trent Baalke kept them. So the 2 that we keep hearing could be moved, even though you hear Travis Etienne a little bit, Devin Lloyd a little bit, the huge cap numbers. Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk. Under Baalke, they may both stay. My guess would be 1. But they could both stay. So there you go. Appreciate that with Trevor Lawrence. All right, we got much more to do. My goodness, look at this text line. 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. It is just burning up. I got to hop on YouTube and see what's up as well. You can get me there. Go to YouTube and go to 1010XL into the night. Getting a lot of play as of late on YouTube. I didn't do a better job navigating my way through there as well. All right, Dylan Denmark is here. My name is Rick Ballou. It's great to have you with us. We call it Into the Night.
Rev up your life with luxury at Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard. Right now, used car prices are 12% lower than their peak in April of 2022, making this the perfect time to drive home in a dream car. Specializing in luxury used vehicles, offering you elegance at prices that are finally coming back down to earth. See special listings in the newspaper every Saturday or online at vaughnmotorgroup.com for a complete inventory listing. If you can dream it, you can drive it at Vaughn Motor Group.
When it comes to towing products, your safety is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
You know, many plumbers won't quote prices over the phone and instead charge a service fee for an in-home estimate. Of course, because they know once they're in your home, you're probably not going to send them away. But Roland Reach Plumbing is different. Roland will give you a price quote over the phone. And there's never a trip charge or service fee for an estimate. So if you've got a leak and can't wait a week and don't like paying unnecessary fees, call on Roland Reach Plumbing at plumbingjacksonville.com.
When you're injured, you probably have more questions than answers, and all you really want is to feel better. This is Joe C., and I certainly can identify. Well, thanks to Rebound Rehab, I bounced back from a serious case of ankle tendonitis to feel pain-free. And they can do the same for you. 8 locations across the First Coast and a team of physical therapists ready to help. From laser and radio pressure wave therapy to aquatic and massage therapy, they can offer real solutions to help you rebound. Log on, reboundrehab.com, and start your path back to pain-free life.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On January 15, 1965, one of the biggest trades in NBA history took place. The San Francisco Warriors sent NBA legend Wilt Chamberlain to the Philadelphia 76ers.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carline from MyBookie. It's win now or go home. The NFL playoffs are the ticket to the biggest game of the year, and all roads lead to New Orleans. The NCAA playoffs will set the stage, but this is your chance to get in on every high-stakes moment along the way. Your road to New Orleans starts now with MyBookie. MyBookie is the ultimate destination for bettors who want more. Whether you're backing the underdogs or riding with the favorites, every drive, every touchdown, every moment is an opportunity to win big. Kick off your 2025 right with risk-free Thursdays. Place a bet. If it doesn't hit, MyBookie has your back. Dive into the Bet Boost tab to supercharge your picks and build that bankroll before the big game. The action doesn't stop. MyBookie's online casino keeps the excitement going 24/7. If you haven't joined yet, now's the time. Use promo code 1010XL on your first deposit, and MyBookie will hook you up with an instant bonus because you deserve to start strong.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
How likely is it to live to be 100 years old? The answer coming up.
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
In the United States, about 5% of women live to be 100, but only 1.8% of men.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
New year, new beginnings, and a new roof. Start 2025 with peace of mind and take advantage of Universal Roof and Contracting's limited time offer. 15% off all roof repairs and replacements. From leaks to full replacements, call 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com to schedule your free roof inspection today. This special New Year deal ends January 31st. Universal Roof and Contracting, protecting your home and building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
Hey, Hicken here. Join me and Pross live from the new home of Tyson Sound and Security this Friday morning. Grab a Chick-fil-A breakfast while you check out the golf simulators and home theater setups. Plus, enter for a chance to win a 75-inch Samsung TV with 3D surround sound and wireless subwoofer. Yeah, that's right, subwoofer, including full installation. Come see the drill live this Friday from the brand new showroom at Tyson Sound and Security. 3555 U.S. Highway 17, Fleming Island.
Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island is excited to announce an all-new happy hour, 7 days a week. You heard right. Every day from 3 until 6 p.m. and again from 9 until close. Barley and Pie has deals you can't resist. 2-for-1 clay lights, 2-for-1 house wines, and much more. Experience the all-new happy hour at Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
No place I'd rather be than right here, Hogan Road. Except for the Blue Crab House. You realize right now you have $1 steamed oysters. And that is good till 9 o'clock tonight. That is the deal each and every Wednesday at the Blue Crab House. And I don't think it's really a Florida tradition, but it's one that I learned in Boston. I do it all the time. As soon as I get my oysters, I always throw one into a glass of beer and slam the Miller Lite with the oyster in it. You don't swallow the oyster. You throw it around your mouth a little bit, in every corner of your mouth, and bring it to the front of your lips and your teeth and just kind of chew through it and then swallow it. But it's got the beer, whether it's 6 ounces, 8 ounces, 12 ounces, some of you knuckleheads out there, 24 ounces, I don't know. You ever done that before? Have you ever knocked back an oyster and a beer doing Denmark?
Negative.
Okay. You got a lot of growing up to do.
Yeah. I haven't had an oyster in like 20 years. And I don't know.
How old are you, 26?
Yeah.
You haven't had an oyster since you were 6 years of age?
Yeah, I remember having when I was like 6, 7 years old. It was at some party that my dad's work friends, and I haven't had one since. And I don't know why. Haven't been given the opportunity, I guess.
I would love to know who the first human being was who just looked at an oyster and decided to rip it open and eat it raw. I mean, you think about that, going back ages and ages ago, and some of the foods that you tried that worked, some other foods that you tried that did not work. Pretty remarkable. Obviously, mushrooms, poisonous mushroom, no matter what it may be. I mean, an oyster, you just look at it, and if you weren't aware of it, you'd be like, there's no way I'm putting that in my mouth.
So humans began eating oysters 164,000 years ago.
That's why Dylan Denmark is on this show. He's got that type of information. But what if you tried, like, seaweed? What if you tried sand? I don't know.
I think enough people have had sand where they're like, no, I'm good.
Back then, though, I mean, you had, like, no education. You had no knowledge of anything. I'm sure people ate rocks. They didn't know. Sticks, twigs, leaves. I don't know. We know they rolled up those leaves and smoked them. Blue Crab House open till 9 o'clock tonight. Again, right off of San Jose on Julington Creek Road. Jeff Darlington now at ESPN is this is kind of amusing, and I like Jeff, but he's acting as if almost like he's breaking news here that the Jaguars job is the most coveted job available. No kidding. We've been saying that forever. You've got a quarterback. You got to hire a guy that can take this quarterback to the elite level. You're in a very winnable division. You want to go to the New York Jets? You want to go to Las Vegas? You want to go to New Orleans? You want to go to Chicago? You want to go right into, you talk about a pressure cooker in Dallas? You still want to be the guy after the guy in New England? Mike Vrabel, the only vacancy that is, has been filled? The best job is right here. It's not even close. Jacksonville is quality of life. The tax situation. Okay? The city in its growth. A fan base that is just chomping at the bit for a winner. Willing to do anything for a winner. And pieces are in place. This isn't like when Mike Mularkey got this team, or Gus Bradley got this team, or Doug Marrone got this team, or Urban Meyer got this team. All right, Doug came with the first-round pick. Actually, that was year 2. Trevor had to, live through Urban Meyer. This team has talent. You have both tackles. You have a star wide receiver. You got 2 really good tight ends. You got 2 really good backs. You got some defensive guys that can play in every position group. Okay, there's absolutely holes. And we talk about them all the time. But you've got something here. There's more talent than a 4-win team here. It is without any question the most attractive job. It is the best job. And I keep reading these lists. And they have Jacksonville at 4 and stuff. And I'm just like, why do you read all these lists, Ballou? And why? They don't know what they're talking about. Diana Rossini says the Jaguars are open to giving Ben Johnson whatever he needs. I don't believe that. I hope so, because Ben Johnson's my guy that I would like for the reasons that I have repetitively identified. Diana Rossini, I think around here, she's got to hit a couple of home runs until you take anything that she says with any certainty after her colossal miss a few years ago that Doug Marrone was out. And if you remember that, Jim Woodcock had to put together a Shad Khan statement saying that Doug Marrone wasn't going anywhere. And, hey, listen, I've been wrong before, right? You're remembered for when you're wrong. You're not remembered from when you're right. But I don't know if Diana Rossini's been right with anything. She is a good sport, though. I will say that. I forget what I tweeted out a few months ago, and I put her name in it, and she retweeted it or liked it or whatever it was. I can't remember exactly what it is that I did. Charles Robinson, very connected guy, says it's Liam Coen. Dan Graziano, earlier in the week with ESPN, listed jobs and has Joe Brady coming here. So there you go. If you are into what the national media is saying, and again, we always credit them and reference them. You know, Jordan Schultz, who I had on last week, and I talk with him, or I should say text him quite a bit, okay? And, you know, there are times I won't mention who I'm texting with, but Jordan has turned into quite an ally here for the city. He just responds immediately and does a lot of interesting things. I told him about the radio interview that I did in Tampa last week and how the radio host in Tampa told me that if Liam Coen is going to get snatched up by the Jacksonville Jaguars, they are going to fire Todd Bowles to keep Coen. And I went back and forth with Jordan Schultz just to get a feel as to what he has heard. And I don't want to quote him on anything, but let's just say this story has been making the rounds. Okay? This wasn't new to him. He has heard it. Again, it's not in print a lot of places. It is not. But it is out there. And he also had some pretty interesting things to say today about Ben Johnson. If you didn't hear about that, we'll get into it as well during our second hour, which is coming up right now.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Happy New Year from everyone at Nimnik Buick GMC. Frank Frangie here. As we kick off 2025, there's no better time to find your next vehicle. Start the year strong with the best selection, unbeatable prices, and a team that's here to help you every step of the way. Because when it comes to putting you first, there's nobody but Nimnik. Remember, Nimnik Buick GMC has the largest inventory of GMC Sierras in Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. Shop 24/7 at NimnikBuickGMC.com or visit the showroom on Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. Now's the perfect time to order logo coffee mugs or maybe a logoed Sick brand tumbler. They're seriously ice cold and look great with your company logo. Hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all. Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey gang, Prosser here, and I've been telling you for years about Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Lifetime Enclosures right now running an awesome special for January. Get a complete enclosure done, get free flooring. Now that can save you some money. If you just need flooring, Lifetime Flooring also running a buy one room, get the second room free. Once again, only for January. Now offering flooring coating as well. So give them a call. I know I did. Visit their showrooms just off Phillips Highway. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
Hey gang, Prosser here. If you want to sell your home soon, now is the time to get the process started and get your home sold fast, easy, and at top dollar, guaranteed with my agent Chad and Sandy Newman. Perhaps you're worried about costly repairs. Maybe you need more space with a growing family. I don't care why you need to sell your home. I do know sometimes those problems can hold you back, but not with the promises of Chad and Sandy, the local real estate experts I trust and recommend. Chad and Sandy, you got this? Guarantee your home sold at agreed upon price and deadline or they will buy it. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. No long-term contracts. Christopher in Butler Beach on Anastasia said, I needed to sell my home and move somewhere smaller with less house to manage. It was unexpectedly very tough. My home had been listed with another agent for 388 days and failed to sell. I heard Chad and Sandy on the radio and called. Amazingly, multiple offers and sold in 3 days. Call Chad and Sandy today or visit them at chadandsandy.com.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
Don't go through another year with all that high interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Hey, it's Prosser here, and Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and personal loans, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. You can. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 904-999-1508, or visit loanpronto.com. Get your free quote now with no hard credit pull at 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166178. Subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text PEC to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text PEC to 321321. That's PEC to 321321.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
I want to shoot, baby, shoot.
Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Man, the text line is burning up. The YouTube page. People going after me here a little bit. Where is it on the Tampa thing? He goes by Mr. Know-It-All on YouTube. And he says, come on, Ballou. They're not going to fire Todd Bowles to keep Liam Coen. Well, I never said that. The interview I did in Tampa, the hosts told me that would happen. But anyway, I don't ever want you to understand what I really say. All I want you to do is to hear whatever it is that you think that I say. Let's bring in John Oehser. He's always spot on. Senior writer, Jaguars.com. Middle of the week, middle of the month. It's Johnny O time. Hello, sir.
Yeah, fans never do that, Rick, by the way. They never interpret anything you say the way they want to hear it. I mean, I, when you were talking about that, I had no idea what you were talking about. So, it's foreign to me.
I remember having this conversation with the late David Lamb probably a decade ago, maybe 12 years ago. There was a period in my life where I read a lot of message boards. And things used to get thrown on message boards that I didn't, and this was Florida State related, not Jaguar related, but things that get thrown on message boards of things that I never said, yet my name would be above it, and I said it, and then people would say, and you can't fight it. Once it's out there, you cannot. So I just said, and I read Twitter all the time, but when it comes to message boards, I don't even know if they're still out there. I elected long ago to no longer read them.
Yeah, I think they're now called comment sections.
Oh.
And it's a thing. And I always refer to it as the difference between what is read and what is written.
There you go. All right. Well, apparently it was a really good interview today for Liam Coen. And, in some circles, where we sit right now, where 6 have interviewed and 4 more are coming, a lot of people believe Liam Coen is the leader in the clubhouse.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible. And I think what you mentioned or what your host mentioned, I was reading that as well about, them possibly keeping Bowles. I mean, wanting to lean away from Bowles and keep Coen. They did that, remember, the Bucs did with Cutter and Lovey a while back.
Right.
So I have zero information on the Bucs. I don't go insider on other teams, but it's a possibility if you like the direction, he's younger, et cetera. And Cohen's the guy. I think Coen, along with Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, those guys make sense. And you do get a vibe that they like those possibilities. We also have 4 left. So, I don't know that it's such an era where it's so much slower paced than what we're used to covering 15 years ago, Rick, that we almost have to get used to the idea that it really does play out now rather than having leaders in the clubhouse. And I think it's what the league wants.
Yeah, no doubt. And, hey, the Glazer family, they made quite a few interesting moves. They said goodbye to Tony Dungy, then turned around and traded for John Gruden. And Gruden won a Super Bowl. Dungy went off to Indianapolis and ended up obviously winning a Super Bowl. Those who are not a fan of Liam Coen will say, why is he only interviewing here? Why no interviews elsewhere? Is that a factor for you?
Well, that part's not a factor to me anyway, because I always look back on, excuse me, I don't know that Tomlin and Harbaugh had a lot of interviews when they interviewed and took the Steelers and Ravens job, and they were the right guy for the franchise at that time. And so hot guy never had interested me that much in terms of the head coach. So if the Jaguars think that Liam Cohen's the right guy, who cares what other people think? The one thing with Coen that is, I think, something you have to explore through is the one-year wonder element, meaning, been with the Bucs 1 year and wasn't really a factor before. Why wasn't there more success at past stops? Why hasn't there been more stability? I don't know the answer to those. that topic would interest me more, and I would be exploring it more as an owner and finding out the right answers than I would care if just because he wasn't also talking to the Raiders. That wouldn't mean anything to me.
John Oehser, our guest, senior writer, Jaguars.com. You know, I've tried to look for some trends. 4 of the 5 coaches have been offensive coaches, 1 defensive guy. 2 had previous head coaching experience, Doug Peterson and Doug Marrone, who was promoted as an interim. Is there anything that you're looking at as far as that is concerned, or are you into no, this is a totally new situation here and nothing previously determined on what Shad Khan has done figures into this hire?
I would think the latter, just because everybody does that, and everybody plays the game of, well, he's done this in the past. And I think it's impossible to know because you can, and it's going to sound like I'm avoiding the question, and I'm not trying to do that. But if you're the owner and you say, well, you know what, I've done this before. I like the idea of, say, an older head coach, which I think Peterson and Marrone were both second time through. Well, if he hires a younger coach in Ben Johnson, for example, everybody would say, well, he clearly didn't want to do what he did before. But he already did what he did before because he did the Doug Peterson thing after he did the Marrone thing. So I think what I'm getting at is you can find whatever pattern you're looking for to fit what you think will happen. I think he really is doing what he did with Doug Peterson, which is taking his time through the process, trying to find the right guy. And when he hears it, when he sees the fit that he wants, I think it'll be about leadership and focus. I mean, not focus, but players listening to you more than it is a set formula. That being said, I would guess that with Trevor Lawrence as a factor, if it's not an offensive coach, it probably needs to be somebody with a pretty good plan of how he'll be supported.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't have to be offense, but the question absolutely has to be answered. There has to be a structure in place to raise the level you're getting out of him.
John, we saw the whole world change when COVID hit, and now people are working at home and they're doing things virtually with Zoom and what have you.
The new coach will not be virtual, Ray.
All right, but 5 years ago, if you were to say to me, "Well, we're going to hire a guy," and all we had was a virtual meeting with him, I would have laughed at you. But this stuff, business-wise, is happening all across the country. I still think it's somewhat different. I expect whoever it is that certainly on the 20th, you can start bringing guys in that they will bring in that candidate. But it's a little bit of an unfair question. But how much can you really learn via Zoom compared to getting with them one-on-one in person?
Well, you are probably like me in that, we're older, not old, but older. So we're used to in-person stuff. So my experience would tell me that you learn much more from shaking a guy's hand, walking through the hallway with him, seeing how he interacts when you introduce him to the strength guy, that sort of thing. Does that matter as much as what you're hearing in a Zoom call? Probably not. But I would guess it'll go like this. I think what we're getting at is, I think there'll be 10 virtual, or 9 virtual, and they brought Salah in. That'll be the round. And then I would guess getting him in the building will be more about, okay, I want to confirm what I felt on the Zoom. I want to make sure that it translates in person. I think that round can be quicker and more of a gut thing than the virtual, which is probably taking extensive notes so that you can compare later. I'd be surprised if you hire a head coach just based on virtual. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's still, and again, maybe I'm just too old and, maybe Shad's got a younger soul and can sort of deal with the virtual end of that better than I can. When you're handing the keys to the whole franchise, you would think you'd want to have a meal with them.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Hey, let's wrap with this. And I honestly don't know the answer to this question. I hope you do. But, the Combine is next month, and we know that these athletes are getting ready to get drafted. They go through their agency, and they have classes and ways to show them how to interview the correct way. Is there a coaching interview process? Because, the word on Ben Johnson is that he hasn't interviewed well. Does his agent, do you know that if this has happened previously with coaches who maybe didn't interview especially well the year prior, that they actually can do something through their agency to help them the next time around?
Well, I don't know that happened with Ben Johnson, meaning I would go more rhetorical. But certainly with the money involved and, assistant coaches make good enough money where if they've heard, hey, you didn't interview well, a PR firm, a PR person can certainly get with somebody in that sense and give them some quick training on how to interview, how to come across better. There's certainly resources like that available. Whether or not a particular coaching agency, I don't know that there's a school in the same way that there are people who come in and work with these prospects.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that that's as public, but if he wanted to do that, there would certainly be ways to do it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's as formulated where, I know people run sports agencies for the athletes who are coming into the pros. That's part of their pre-draft quote process.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as I don't believe it's as formalized for coaches as it would be for players.
Yeah, I've never heard that before. That's why I asked you. Obviously, we're talking about a much smaller as far as numbers with head coaches than obviously players who are making themselves eligible for the NFL draft. Hey, make sure you read John Oehser. Go to Jaguars.com. John and his entire staff. And, of course, John Oehser is the Jaguars senior writer. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Rick. Appreciate it, buddy.
There he goes. John Oehser. Good stuff there. Wonder how that is, that whole interview process. And, I think for the players, for them, it becomes repetitive, right? I think they're 15-minute interviews, and you go from team to team to team to team to team. Well, everyone listening at some point has interviewed before. Your first interview, you're wide-eyed, you're ready to go, but if you go into a second, then all of a sudden, when you get to number 12 and you get to number 15 and you're asked the same stuff over and over again, I think it can be very taxing on you. It's different when you're interviewing to become a head coach. It's far lengthier. The candidate pool is shrunk immensely, and I just don't know. I would think with a very good agent, it could be hush-hush. It would be just you and the agent and whoever the individual is, and I'm sure that the agency has those people stacked, and we want you to meet with so-and-so. And they're going to take you through what they believe the team is going to ask you, and we're going to help you on how you should answer that question. It's pretty bizarre to think that you could be a great football man, but you don't interview well, and that and that ends up costing you the job. We've seen the other side of it. Gus Bradley is the blueprint. I mean, you can't interview Gus Bradley and not come away impressed. It's impossible. He is so likable, and he knows the game, and he's energetic and infectious, and he rubs off on players. But then you come to practice and games, and I also think there was a significant lack of talent around here. I always thought Gus Bradley would be a phenomenal college football coach. I really did. I don't know about today. I mean, today with the NIL and the transfer portal, I don't even know what to say about that anymore. But anyway, pretty interesting stuff, no doubt about it. Hey, as we head to this break, tell you what I'm putting together. Going to put together a skip day once it gets warm. And we're going to play a round of golf at Cimarron. I want to get the crazies of Into the Night to come on out. So I want to start to do this time and again over the next couple of weeks. I think I'll schedule it for probably early February. But I just want to get an idea from listeners how many out there are interested, because I'd love to do this and, maybe do it quarterly or maybe do it, break it up in thirds or maybe a couple of times a year. But we're just going to flat out call it a skip work day at Cimarron and have a good round of golf. And then I'll do my show out there and we'll have a really good time. If you haven't played Cimarron, you're missing out there in 210. They've put a ton of money into it. Greens are much better, fairways, obviously the tee boxes, brand new clubhouse, indoor, outdoor. So just give me an idea on that, either on YouTube or you can certainly do it as well on our text line. That is 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
Where winning begins.
Gentlemen, if you keep playing like this, I promise you, you will leave this field winners. Get in here!
1010XL.
That's what I'm talking about.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Florida's weather is unpredictable. Don't let the Epic Chill catch you off guard. For reliable heating services, call Epic Cool Heating and Air. Keep your home cozy all season long. Call 904-859-EPIC, 904-859-3742.
Nick in here with a message from Zero Res. Did you have people over for the holidays? Kids everywhere, dirt everywhere, all over the carpets, the rugs, the sofas, and chairs. Did the kitchen tile take a beating? Sounds like it's time to call my guys over at Zero Res. The Zero Res techs will get the house looking great again. Folks, if you need help cleaning up after the holiday, give Zero Res a call. Right now, 25% off carpet cleaning, 25% off upholstery cleaning. Zero Res, spell it forwards. Zero Res, spell it backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
These are interesting economic times. That's why it's so important to have someone you can count on. That's ITP Partners. Jacksonville folks taking care of our Jacksonville money. Experience? You best believe you want to give your hard-earned money to folks you trust. Jeff Hartman, Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Reed Wingate, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reagan Wright have the expertise and knowledge to help clients in their financial lives, focusing on investment management, financial planning, and risk management. ITP Partners. Financial partners for life. Securities offered through American Portfolios Financial Services, Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On January 15, 1965, one of the biggest trades in NBA history took place as San Francisco Warriors sent NBA legend Wilt Chamberlain to the Philadelphia 76ers.
Looking for a great place to enjoy some craft creations and soak up some scenery? Fernandina's Mocama Beer Company is a must-see and must-try. Nassau County knows it. Visitors need to find out about it. Mocama means near the big water where the sun is born. And if you visit their tap room in Fernandina Beach, you'll see how they've mastered equal parts precision and art in creating great flavors from IPAs to Pilsners, lagers, and sours, plus plenty more. Mocama.com, Mocama Beer Company. Start an adventure and find them in Fernandina.
There are three certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
You can attend the Police Athletic League's two-day boxing tournament at Julian Jackson Center, January 18th and 19th. Learn more at jaxpal.org.
The Wounded Warrior Project provides what medicine and technology can't: community, counseling, and a second chance. Find ways to help at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Your high school girls can join the Duval Tides girls rugby team. No tryouts and no experience necessary. Learn everything you need to know at Jax
HS Girls Rugby on Facebook and Instagram.
The Creeks Athletic Association in St. Johns County offers a variety of sports for children 5 to 18. Learn how to get your child involved at caale.org.
The Tom Coughlin J Fund helps families battling childhood cancer, and there are ways you can help. Go to tcjfund.org.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010xl.com.
Mia here for MyBookie. It's win or go home. The NFL playoffs are the ticket to the biggest game of the year, and all roads lead to New Orleans. The NCAA playoffs will set the stage, but this is your chance to get in on every high-stakes moment along the way. Your road to New Orleans starts now with MyBookie. MyBookie is the ultimate destination for bettors who want more, whether you're betting the underdogs or riding with the favorites. Every drive, every touchdown, every moment is an opportunity to win big. Kick off your 2025 right with risk-free Thursdays. Place a bet, and if it doesn't hit, MyBookie has your back. Dive into the Bet Boost tab to supercharge your picks and build that bankroll before the big game. And when the games are over, the action does not stop, folks. MyBookie's online casino keeps the excitement going 24/7. Blackjack, roulette, slots, it's all there. Whether you're celebrating a big win or gearing up for the next round. Haven't joined yet? Now's the time. Use promo code 1010XL on your first deposit, and MyBookie will hook you up with an instant bonus because you deserve to start the year off right.
Find Florida Gators basketball on 1010XL. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Florida Gators. And by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
That's what happens around 11:15 every morning. Wake up, wake up. Someone wake up Ballou. Of course, that's the second verse. Let's get to you, 0289. Find what you want to do in life, youngsters, and then take advantage of the quality of life later. Talk sports, couple hours a night, stay up reading till 3, sleep till 11. I mean, there it is. Wouldn't have it any other way. 0289. Ballou, didn't we just have an offensive genius? Yeah, and he gave up the play calling. I mean, we'll never know the answer, but I feel very comfortable saying that if Doug Peterson called plays this year, this team wins 7, 8, 9 games, not 4. I really believe that. I mean, it's I think Doug Peterson's a good coach. The guy won a Super Bowl. I just cannot for the life of me figure out why he remains so loyal to Press Taylor. And I also blame Shad Khan. I think Shad Khan, who meets with Doug Peterson after every game, we also learned that Doug Peterson reported directly to Shad Khan. I think Shad Khan as the owner should have said to Doug Peterson, you call when they were 0-4, you call plays or you're fired. What would prevent him from doing that? He owns the team. No one's ever going to look at Shad Khan and say he's too involved, he's Jerry Jones, he's the late Al Davis. No. And that could have been behind the scenes. That could have been one-on-one. Doug Peterson, you call plays or you're fired. Didn't happen that way, obviously. Let's see here. 56-55. I don't know who is not agreeing with you, but you are 100% correct. Shanahan, McVay, Matt LaFleur, Kevin O'Connell. Be interested to see how Detroit does next year after losing probably a ton of coaches. Yeah, I mean, do they promote Mark Brunell? Does he want to be an offensive coordinator and call plays? Greg Huntington told us no. If Mark Brunell came here with Ben Johnson, he would be an offensive coordinator, but he would not be calling plays. Ben Johnson would. Back to the last question with Doug Peterson. I don't want Ben Johnson or Liam Coen or Todd Monken or Joe Brady coming here and giving up the play calling. I don't want that. I want a young, energetic coach who calls plays. That's what I want. 77-76. Ballou, imagine Trevor throwing to Brian Thomas Jr. and Tet McMillan. Wow, it's like Burrow throwing to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. That would be impressive. You're talking about the young star to Arizona. It really would. And they have to address the number 2 wide receiver. Whether they do it in the draft, whether they try to go out and make a trade for a guy like George Pickens, who comes with baggage, right? Can you go out and give T. Higgins what he wants? What's the deadline here? Let me see. Franchise players is February 18th. So we got a month and 3 days where Cincinnati's going to have to try to figure out what they're doing. You've got some guys that are getting up there in age a little bit and have also dealt with some injuries. Chris Godwin, Amari Cooper, Stephon Diggs, not as old as the other two. It's a pretty quality. It is. It's a good wide receiver core of guys that are going to be available. But yeah, that sounds impressive to me. 36-69. Blue, do you think Bulky leaked how well the interview went with Coen because that's his choice and he knows he can control him? A lot of people believe that. Okay, there's been more leakage here than there has with the previous 5 interviews. I don't know that. I do not know. There's been quite a school of thought over the years that Bulky absolutely leaks information. I do not know. I honestly do not. If that is the case here. 80-43, Ballou, shocking that the guy with no other interviews is willing to work here with Trent. Okay, and, we just had that conversation. I asked you about it earlier, Dylan. I asked John Oehser about it. It is somewhat alarming. But look at what Tampa Bay thinks about this guy. And those rumors that if Jacksonville offers this job, Todd Bowles could be fired or Todd Bowles could be moved upstairs. I mean, that's the Tampa Bay rumor. So, someone thinks highly of him. 60-65, Ballou, we have to have a good offense. Superstars aren't going to sign here. Why is that? Let me finish it. And we can't afford to overpay for mid-level guys. Get Tet McMillan or Luther Burden. Luther Burden's a very talented wide receiver. Kid out of Missouri. In the first round with BTJ. Are any of those, as much as I love you, I love this, I don't believe either one of those two are equal to the 5th pick in the draft. And you know how I feel about offense. I don't advocate trading down. And they did that a year ago, and it worked wonderfully by getting Thomas Jr. All right? I'd be really surprised if they used a first-round pick to go back to the well at wide receiver. I just don't know. Outside of Travis Hunter, unless Travis Hunter's available and, your plan is to use Travis Hunter as an everyday wide receiver. All right? I mean, what are they going to do? In a way, I'm almost petrified of Travis Hunter coming here because I feel like this organization would do the wrong thing. And I hate to say that. But is he going to be an every down corner and then you're going to put in a package for him? He can't go both ways the way he did at Colorado. You can't do that in pro football. I mean, you'll be knocked out. And I'm not saying that because of conditioning, although I think that in itself is brutal. I'm saying it because of health. Everyone moves faster and hits harder in the NFL. You know, with apologies to Iowa State and Kansas State. No, this is different in the NFL. And also, this guy's going to have a bullseye on him because he's arrogant and he's cocky and he's loud, and they're going to be veterans that were drafted in the 5th and 6th round that have been playing in the league for quite some time that are going to just be eating up the opportunity to rock this guy's world. Remember how Jalen was when he got here? I mean, you're going to get the same type of stuff with Travis Hunter. I love your idea about wide receiver. I do, but I honestly think it may be a second-round pick. Right now, I see them going defense in the first round. And, I want all offense. But a guard or a wide receiver just doesn't add up to number 5. Boy, we're getting a lot of good stuff here. 5262 Blue, I want Tate Ratledge from Georgia. Guard from Georgia. Okay. You know, he missed a little bit of time this year, I believe. I think we remember talking about that. When it comes to offensive linemen, that is the one position where I will slide that over to the experts, and they're coming. We're 99 days away. You know, we're 30 days away. Maybe I guess it's more like 45 days away from the combine. You know, we have the Senior Bowl, the East-West Shrine. Let me see here. Senior Bowl is February 1st. My goodness, man. So they start practicing in about a week and a half. Wow. East-West Shrine is January 30th. So we're getting 2 really good games coming up with, draftable players. And that whole Senior Bowl week is just huge. The Combine goes February 24th through March 3rd. You know, those first couple of days, the 24th, 25th, you don't get much out of it outside of, their height and weight and interviews. But they start getting into the personal workouts probably on the 26th, 27th. That is a huge week. I love the offseason. I do. I love being able to come in here not after a loss. I hate to say it that way, but that's always been my deal. I love the offseason. I love sitting here talking to you, talking with you, because I take your comments, your suggestions. And it's about getting better. I love it. Love talking about trying to build it. As opposed to rolling in here on Monday talking about how they lost another one-possession football game. In 98-86. I don't want Deion's claws anywhere near this franchise. After his little stinny pull with helping Jalen out of here. Well, have I ever said Deion Sanders and the Jacksonville Jaguars in the same sentence? I said Deion Sanders in Florida State. What Deion Sanders said to Jalen Ramsey was priceless. Did you ever see this clip, Dylan?
Refrain my memory. I remember, but I can't remember exactly what it was.
And until he said it, I never really understood it. Because if you look at the era of the mid to late 80s, the 2 biggest flamboyant trash talkers in all of college football heading to the NFL was Brian Bosworth and Deion Sanders. They were on their own stratosphere. But if you go back and you really follow the career of Deion Sanders, Deion never ripped opposing players. He never went after anyone on the other team. You remember the fight with Andre Rison and him trying to shake the hand with Jerry Rice. But he never called out opponents. Jalen did. Remember Jalen's GQ article where he called out Josh? He called out everyone. He just trashed everyone. And in this viral clip, Deion Sanders came in to speak to the team, and he said, Jalen, you're doing it all wrong. I never trash talked. All I did was self-promote. All Deion Sanders did was take on Muhammad Ali's approach of, I am great. I am the best there ever was. Okay, that's what Deion did. And I know it upset a lot of people. That's why he came across as, so incredibly egotistical. But all Deion Sanders did was improve his brand. He bragged about himself, where Jalen went the other way. Jalen wasn't improving his brand by talking about himself. Instead, he was ripping opponents.
I never remember Jalen talking about himself. It was always about the opponent.
He didn't want to talk about himself. He didn't want to be a leader. I'll never forget that scrum where he came right out and said, I don't want to be a leader. But that was the difference. Jalen Ramsey went after opponents. Deion Sanders never did that. Deion Sanders spent all his time telling you how great he was. And Deion said that to Jalen in that viral clip. He said, man, you're doing it the wrong way. And until I heard that, I never considered it because I would have, I went to school at the same time as Deion did. My opinion would have been Deion is a massive trash talker. But, yeah, he did it in a way of self-promotion. Muhammad Ali was the best of all time. He self-promoted and also just destroyed Joe Frazier or anyone else, Howard Cosell. But, there's only one Muhammad Ali, obviously the greatest that there ever was. All right, speaking of great, do you understand, ladies and gentlemen, Rafael Esparza? He's coming up. He's next.
Bone-crushing blows to game-winning goals.
Yes!
Feel the energy on 1010XL.
History!
Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Football's heating up. The NBA is back. And on Hard Rock Bet, you can bet every sport. Even combine all your sports into one bet. One Florida bettor put $50 on a combo parlay and won more than $100,000. And they tacked on another $10,000 to that win with a daily profit boost. Promos every day for every kind of player. Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us. Win your first bet or get up to $100 back in bonus bets. Payable and bonus bet up to $100, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Start your new year off healthy and get screened at Ackerman Cancer Center with on-site imaging, including whole body MRI, PET and CT scans, and mammography. Early detection is key. Visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
When the heat's on high or the chill is too much, who you gonna call? Cool Cats Heating and Cooling is locally owned and operated with a perfect touch. You'll keep your home just right, day or night. AC to heating, don't take a beating. Call the coolest cats in town. With a 5-star Google rating, they're your neighbors, ready to help. So get your paw of approval from Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town. CoolCatsJacks.com.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast Orthopedic Specialist for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialist take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Get more Gators on the Gator Bites podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists with new episodes every Friday. Subscribe and listen by searching for 1010XL's Gator Bites podcast wherever you find podcasts and at 1010XL.com.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
If golf is your thing, you'll want to check out the 2025 Hills Pass at Hidden Hills Golf Club. Unlimited golf, including golf car, and preferred tee times for just one low price. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com to purchase your Hills Pass today.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. Look, it's kind of cooling down right now. I love opening my windows up this time of year. If you're looking to upgrade your windows in your home, I want you to visit the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Ask about their latest hurricane and impact-resistant windows and doors, rated #1 by Consumer Reports in all 3 main window categories. You want quality, style, and protection? Visit PellaJacks.com and the showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. That's Pella Windows and Doors online at PellaJacks.com.
When looking for a firearm, you want knowledge of product, a fair price, and of course, a quick process. Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jack's Beach is always stocked with brand new firearms and the quickest in and out times this side of the ditch. BeachesJewelryandPawn.com.
Homeowners, listen up. It's time to start fresh in 2025. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto is here to help take control of your finances in 2025 by lowering your house payments and consolidating that nagging debt. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Right now, Loan Pronto has some of the most competitive offers for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans, starting in the low 5s APR. If your current rate is over 6%, don't settle for paying too much. Even if you're in process with another lender, call Loan Pronto now. Lock in at a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Get your personalized Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees. Call now, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
Make a resolution this new year to send all of your friends or family a Coen Flowers floral arrangement. ET here with Tintin XL. Okay, how about sending just one person you love a floral arrangement? Coen Flowers can handle it.
Open enrollment is here, so it's time to secure health coverage for your family. Whether you need Affordable Care Act plans, dental, or Medicare, contact Florida First Insurance Group on University Boulevard, an award-winning Florida Blue agency well known for providing superior service. Theo Mitchelson and his team at Florida First make the process easy and stress-free with medical and dental insurance you can count on. Plus, listen to this. Based on eligibility, many people pay absolutely nothing for coverage. Contact Theo Mitchelson and the Florida First Insurance Group today and let your health be their priority. And a reminder for Florida Blue members, visit Sanitas Medical Center with 3 locations in town offering primary care, walk-in services, an on-site pharmacy, and mental health support. SANITAS Medical Center, Florida First Insurance Group, and Sanitas Medical Center, a winning team in Northeast Florida.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
Today, interview number 6 took place with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Liam Coen, offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, met with Jaguars brass a little bit earlier today. So, first year as a play caller, he replaced Dave Canellis, who last year got snatched up by the Carolina Panthers as the play caller for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So not a ton of experience for Liam Coen. And you look at his resume, he went back and forth between Kentucky and the Los Angeles Rams. So he worked with Sean McVay. He was also responsible for the development of Will Levis at Kentucky. But we're talking about a young guy with not a lot of play calling experience. Still, the Jacksonville Jaguars right now think very highly of Liam Coen. And depending on who you listen to, with 4 interviews still left for the Jaguars, some people believe right now he is the leader to get this job.
Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line. Hello. We can wiggle it.
Let's go to Las Vegas. Let's bring in our buddy. He is Rafael Esparza with MyBookie and MyBookie.org. Hello, Rafael.
Hello. Not only the leader, but the betting favorite for the Jacksonville Jaguars head coach.
How popular has this become now recently with, 7? One already is filled with Mike Vrabel. You told us last week that was going to happen. Is it more and more yearly with folks betting on this?
Yeah, I think what people are starting to realize, like I don't know if I told you last week, but I do believe the Jaguars and Saints are probably going to be the last 2 jobs taken. It's all going to be determined on what Johnson does in Detroit, what's the Dallas Cowboys going to do. But you know me, I love me some controversy. If Marcus Freeman wins the national championship on Monday, I can guarantee you 3 to 4 teams who may not be looking for a head coaching job is going to be calling Notre Dame and see what just to bring him in for an interview.
Man, I can't see that, even though the weather's awful in South Bend and I would be on the first plane out of there. I mean, he's going to start to be able to bring in his recruits, classic old school Notre Dame 5- and 4-star recruits. Why would he want to go to the NFL?
I think teams are starting to realize you need a culture. Look what Dan Campbell did with Detroit.
Yeah.
Culture. Look what other teams. I think that's why Witten, I think, is one of the small dark horses to be the Dallas Cowboys head coach. Yes, I know he won a head coach or won a national championship for a high school team, but he brings culture into this. I think head coaches, if you know you're a team that's not going to win a Super Bowl anytime soon, then why don't you bring culture in first, establish the culture in the locker room, and then build around that? I think that makes perfect sense for a couple, 2 to 3 teams in the NFL who, no disrespect to the Jaguars and Duval, Saints, and the Titans, those aspects, no disrespect to them, but I think they need culture first before building a Super Bowl program.
How's the money on Deion Sanders in Dallas?
It keeps on coming in. And if you're Deion, the only way, what I'm hearing, the only way he comes to Dallas if they get the number 1 pick and he gets to draft his son. So if you're the Tennessee Titans, why would you want Dak Prescott's horrible contract to come to Tennessee and probably make your program 3 to 4 years backwards to bring in that contract? I just don't see it. I still think he stays in Colorado. I'm hoping I'm wrong just because I would love to see Deion and him fighting back and forth with limelight of who's going to be the head guy in Dallas. But I just don't see Tennessee saying, okay, we'll take Dak Prescott. Here's our number 1 draft pick.
All right, the betting favorite here is Liam Coen. What's the latest on Ben Johnson? And how does Ben Johnson figure in there in Las Vegas?
I think the longer Detroit's in the playoffs, the longer he stays. I know the Bears are highly on it. I still think the Bears are going to hire Cliff Kingsbury. I think that's a name. Kellen Moore, I think, could be a name that's out there. But I think Ben Johnson, I think the longer they're in the playoffs, and don't forget, he turned down jobs last year. I still think he stays in Detroit. Now, I think the defensive coordinator might leave. I think the Saints are looking into him. But I think Ben Johnson stays in Detroit.
All right, let's look at 2 games. Let's begin with, I think, what is the best game over the weekend. Obviously, that is Baltimore at Buffalo. How's the money been there?
Buffalo opened up 1.5-point favorites. Now Baltimore is 1-point favorites. I don't understand it. I know they ran for 209 yards against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but this is at Buffalo, which is the late game on Sunday, which we could see snow. And I'm sorry, I know Baltimore gets snow, but they don't get lake effect snow like what Buffalo gets. So I still like Buffalo plus the points. I can tell you this: I think the winner of this game, Baltimore-Buffalo. Here it is. I'm saying on your show, win the Super Bowl.
All right. Ohio State, Notre Dame. Does this remain a 1-possession game, or does it fall to 8.5, maybe 9 points?
I think it's a 1-possession game. I understand why people think, I can't believe Notre Dame's being disrespectful. But what we've seen in Ohio State is they're very talented on offense, a lot of speed on offense. And what's the health game of Notre Dame and that running back with Love? I think Ohio State wins, but I think Notre Dame covers, even though I'd love to see Marcus Freeman win, just because I like controversy, and will he go to the NFL afterwards?
A lot of SEC fans around here telling us they're not even going to watch this game, which I just love when they say stuff like that.
What a shock.
All right, leave us with what's going on right now at MyBookie and MyBookie.org.
Not only do we have the national championship on Monday and playoffs on Saturday and Sunday, we got UFC 311 on Saturday as well, but we have college basketball, NHL, NBA. If you're not watching the new golf league that Tiger was in, it was fantastic yesterday, even though they got butt whipped yesterday. It made us a lot of money because everybody was betting Tiger Woods. It's a nice full event right going on MyBookie.com.
Rafael Esparza, MyBookie and MyBookie.org. Thank you, Rafael.
Take it easy.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. Find the coolest cats in town at coolcatsjacks.com.
Rafael Esparza over the years has made some really good predictions, and a lot of them have come to fruition. He just said a moment ago that if Notre Dame won the national championship on Monday night, he would not be surprised if he left Notre Dame and grabbed one of these head coaching vacancies.
Yeah, we know Chicago's talking to, I think, everybody. I don't know if you've interviewed with him yet. I'm supposed to interview with him.
I don't want to go back to Chicago.
Well,
I spent
true.
7
That's
hours,
true.
7 years there.
They're talking to me on Friday. I think Denmark's talking to him on Saturday. I mean, it's amazing how many coaching prospects they've talked to. But Marcus Freeman is an intriguing name if Notre Dame does win the national title.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And unfortunately, man, it's a huge line. Ohio State really favored by 8, maybe 8.5 here. All right, today's rage is Liam Coen. His interview becomes the 6th candidate to do so.
Yeah, we're going to go to Tampa coming up here in just a bit. Zach Blobner's been on the sports scene down there for quite some time. And one of the things I like about Zach, he was also part of the sports scene here at 930 back in the day. So he knows Jacksonville pretty well. He knows Tampa pretty well. So I'm going to ask him, who covered Liam Coen every day, how Liam Coen would fit into a town like Jacksonville, a town that Zach knows pretty well. I think Jaguar fans will find that interesting. Although, Rick, in the last hour on social media, Albert Breer has said that Ben Johnson and Robert Saleh, and Ian Rappaport is saying that Ben Johnson is all but locked into Las Vegas. We got Liam Coen news. We got, I mean, it's just Joe Brady was Dan Graziano's pick yesterday.
Right.
No one has any idea what the Jaguars are doing. Yep. And that's either a good or a bad thing. I haven't figured it out yet. Obviously, there's not a lot of rumors coming out of that building because people, I think, are in large part guessing as to what the Jaguars are going to be doing.
Yeah, I had Albert Breer on last week. I also had one of my Jordan Schultz, and he came out and said Liam Coen, and I've gone back and forth with him on text. So I love it. I mean, we're getting a lot of guesswork. We're getting some of that sourced, but still, it's wide open at this point.
It's absolutely wide open. So we're going to talk a lot about it tonight. Day number, what is this? Day 9. Yeah, of the coaching search. Like we said, Zach Blobner down in Tampa. Also, Leon Searcy is going to join us as well. It'll be pretty much all Jaguars, all NFL tonight on Hacker After Dark.
All right, have a great show.
Thanks,
Rick. Coming up right now. We'll be back with you tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. I'm hoping for Tim Brando tomorrow night to talk about Notre Dame, Ohio State. Obviously, we'll have much more on the Jaguars. The Philly Godfather will join us tomorrow night. We'll take a look at the divisional round and the national championship game. Thank you to John Oehser. Thank you to Rafael Esparza. The producer is Dylan Denmark. As I say all the time, I don't have an opportunity to get on the text line when I'm not on air. If you want to reach me, you can do it on Twitter or X. That's Ballou1010XL. I am Rick Ballou, talking to you tomorrow night at 6.